알고 보면 2배 더 재밌는 GSL, 7년의 역사를 자랑하는 GSL의 이모저모를 살펴보는 시간 GSL 백서입니다. 매주 토요일 여러분을 찾아가는데요. 오늘은 그 첫 번째 시간으로 GSL에만 있는 아주 특별한 상, 우승만큼 의미 있는 상인 임재덕상에 대해서 알아보겠습니다. GSL은 코드 S와 코드 A 승강전 시스템으로 출발했는데요. 코드 S에 잔류하는 것 자체가 무척 어려웠던 당시 놀랍게도 코드 S 10연속 진출에 성공한 임재덕 선수를 기념하기 위해 2012년 처음 만들어졌습니다. 그렇다면 이 상은 누구에 의해 왜 만들어졌을까요? 임재덕상을 맨 처음 창안한 사람은 GSL을 주관했던 곰TV의 그레텍 대표이사셨던 배인식 대표라고 합니다. 메이저리그의 전설적인 투수 사이영 그 이름을 따서 각 리그 최고 투수에게 수여하는 사이영상에서 모티브를 얻었다고 하는데요. 이 얘기를 듣고 당시 해설자였던 현 아프리카TV 최정원 본부장이 실행으로 옮겼다고 합니다. 당시의 두 분은 설마 임재덕상 수상자가 그렇게 많겠어? 이렇게 생각을 하셨다고 하는데 두 분의 예상과는 달리 많은 수상자들이 탄생했죠. 2012년 GSL 시즌3에서 코드 S 10연속 진출에 성공한 임재덕 선수를 시작으로 그해 12월 정종현 선수가 두 번째 수상자가 됐고요. 그리고 2013년 8월 박수호 선수가 세 번째 수상의 영광을 안았습니다. 그리고 2014년 GSL 시즌2에서 원희삭 선수가 네 번째 수상자가 됐는데요. 원희삭 선수는 이듬해 16강까지 10연속 진출 기록을 만들면서 새롭게 원희삭상을 신설하기도 했습니다. 그리고 2017년 무려 3년 만에 임재덕상 수상자가 동시에 2명이나 탄생했는데요. 2014년 GSL 시즌1에서 첫 코드 S를 밟은 이후 10연속 진출에 성공한 강민수 선수와 박명우 선수가 그 주인공입니다. 이 4년이란 긴 시간 동안 꾸준한 성적을 보여준 두 선수에게 다시 한번 축하드리고요. 역대 임재덕상 수상자가 모두 그랬던 것처럼 두 분 역시 GSL 결승에 오를 거라 믿어 의심치 않겠습니다. 이 반면 9연속 코드 S까지 달리다가 아쉽게 한 시즌 남기고 코드 A로 떨어졌던 선수들도 있는데요. 레전드 이윤열, 슈퍼노바 김영진, 해병왕 이정훈, 군단의 심장 초대 우승자 김민철, 그리고 현재에도 왕성하게 활동 중인 이동영 선수가 그 주인공입니다. 한편 이번 시즌 9연속 코드 S 진출에 성공하면서 다음 시즌 임재덕상 수상이 유력해진 선수도 있는데요. 바로 진에어 그린윙스 이병렬 선수입니다. 이번 시즌은 물론 다음 시즌도 좋은 성적 거두셔서 꼭 7번째 임재덕상 수상자가 되시길 응원해 보겠습니다. GSL과 관련된 재밌고 신비한 이야기, 다음 주 토요일 두 번째 이야기로 찾아오겠습니다. 지금까지 GSL 백서였습니다.
It's time for another day of the GSL CODES. I'm Tasteless. Joined with me is Artosis. How are you doing, man?
Very well. Superb. Excellent.
Fantastic.
This is a great day, Tasteless.
Yeah.
Another Nesty Award is going to be given out today.
That's right.
2 this season, in fact. It's pretty crazy.
Of course, the Nesty Award, you have to get 10 GSL CODESs in a row.
Yeah.
Not win them, but just get into it. That's hard enough as it is.
And of course, our group today is out of control. The players that have already advanced to round of 16, awesome. Look at that, Biol, Deer, Innovation, and Lucira, kind of a wild card in there. But look at the group today, Tasteless. Maru, one of the 4 horsemen of Terran. Definitely a big favorite to get out of this group today.
I think one of the biggest fan favorites really in StarCraft 2. He's been playing for so long. Super, he's probably the underdog of this group. We'll have to see how he does. If he gets out of this group to be candid, it's pretty surprising.
It really would be with the caliber of players, and curious as well. Like this guy, look at that 15th Codes, unfortunately not an ST award, but that's a lot of Codeses. He's been around a long time, but an underdog because the other man in this group, possibly the greatest Zerg on planet Earth, it's Dark.
Yeah, and with Dark here, I think he's the one that you have to expect to get out no matter what. Currently the best StarCraft 2 Zerg in the world.
Yeah, he's pretty ludicrously awesome. Plays very different than the other guys as well. Anyways, it's time to give out a special award to a very special Zerg.
That's right.
And
we're going to be bringing him on momentarily. See what his thoughts are after becoming one of the few people to get the Nesty Award.
박용우 선수의 시상을 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 그럼 박용우 선수를
Right, we
박수로
have the fifth
맞아주시죠.
player receiving the Nesty Award.
축하드립니다.
Go Dark!
네,
Congratulations,
다섯
Dark.
번째 임재덕상
You sick
수상자입니다.
badass.
축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
네, 단 7년간
fifth
4명밖에 안
Player,
나온 참 어려운 기록을
you
쓰셨습니다.
can only get this by
어떠세요?
10 consecutive Codeses.
좀 이렇게 꾸준히
In all the previous years, there's only
네.
4 players that did this. How do you feel
7
now?
years.
8강을 한 번도 못 갔다는 게 더 놀라운 것 같아요.
아, 그게 더 놀랍다.
네.
자, 역대 임재덕상 수상자가
Says, I think this award just means that my performance has been stable.
That is literally exactly what it means, but yes.
And he says, I can't believe I never made the finals.
뭐 이렇게 트로피 받았으니까
네.
이번엔 징크스 깨고
But did you know in the past all the award receivers make it to the finals?
꼭 계셨으면 좋겠는데 컨디션은 어떠세요?
What? I didn't know that. That's sick.
Yeah.
나쁘진 않은 것 같아요.
아,
괜찮은
그래요?
것
Or I
같아요.
guess,
어제
okay.
경기력은 정말
I wonder if it's
어마어마한
on the
것
season
같은데.
where they make it.
또 있네요.
I don't even care about the season now. I'm very
no.
interested.
That's not the case. It's,
네.
Just everyone's been there.
everyone's been there at least.
덜 나온 것 같아요.
아, 그래요? 자, 오늘
You
참
put
많은
out a great
분들이
performance
좋아하고
in
계실 것
SSL.
같아요.
Do you
마지막으로
think you can
팬분들께
continue
오늘
that
경기
here
임하는
tonight in the
각오
GSL?
제가 생각하기엔 이 조가 좀 가장 헬조라고 생각하고
Any
있고
words to your fans?
좀 어려운 조 같은데 잘 풀어서
Personally, I think
올라갈 수
my
있도록
group
하겠습니다.
네, 알겠습니다.
is the hardest group.
자, 오늘 경기 가장 헬조에 속한 것
But I
같다
prepared
말씀을
well.
해주셨는데요.
I'll do my
과연
best.
임재덕상 수상자 어떤 활약 보여주실지
hopefully make it to the
기대하겠습니다.
next round.
다시 한번 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
Once again, congratulations
네,
and thank you.
이렇게
It's a
다섯
pretty
번째
sick award,
임재덕상
man.
수상자
10 in a
10연속
row.
코데스
That's like
진출이라는 참 어려운 기록을
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's so hard to do.
만나봤습니다. 자,
just to
박명우
think that
선수의
this
활약을
tournament has
더
been around for as
기대해보겠고요.
long as it has been.
지금부터
What,
2017
I heard
하시스
what we have had 30 GSLs, Codeses?
I think 30. I think this might be our 31st actually.
31st or something like that, and that's like the fact that he is only the 5th player to receive this. Well, I guess Solar's tied at 5th, just Dark has an earlier group. But yeah, it's kind of wild, right?
Okay, so our 4 players, Maru, Super, Curious, Dark. We're in the group phase here. So, for instance, Maru and Super will face off. The winner of that goes on to the winner's match. If you win there, you escape. If you lose early on, you're in the loser's match. If you lose there, you're out. If you do win in the loser's match, then you go on to the final match, and we only have 2 players left. As only 2 players advance out of the 4 players in each lettered group.
Yeah, Maru and Dark, obviously the big favorites, the best players, 2 of the best players in the world, without any doubt. But Super and Curious are of such a level that if they put on some good games today, they can make upsets.
That's right. So we're going to be going into this game pretty quickly here. Maru is somebody, over the past several years, you've always got to look out for this guy. He's very good at his control, knows exactly when to drop. In fact, a lot of his drops just dismantle his opponent immediately. He's still very young, and he started at an incredibly early age. I mean, this guy is basically got the perfect background to continue to improve and be a better player, and I have high expectations for him here tonight.
He's been putting out really sick games for quite some time. Last year was a bit lackluster for him on the individual leagues. But you know, the final year of Pro League was really his year. He was crushing it, doing such a great job.
And he was ranked 1 in all of Pro League when I was casting it.
Yeah, he was. Like him and Hero were really killing it.
That's right.
It's like,
oh my God, his cord
Oh
stuck
my
on the side.
gosh.
Does he want it like that? I guess he does.
he probably does. Yeah. Yeah, he definitely does. 'cause
He saw
just
it. He's got his Barbie wristbands on.
He does. This guy is so based.
Yeah, he does not care. His opponent, Super, he's obviously aware that he's the underdog. Still top 32 players in the world is no small feat, but there is a big difference between skill, even when you're in the top 32 in the world. It doesn't mean that Super can't win it, but it's certainly unlikely.
We haven't seen too much out of Super recently. He hasn't really been qualifying for a bunch of the big stuff. He's been popping up in little leagues from time to time, but No huge results out of him. He had a semi-strong beginning last year to the year, but hasn't carried that through. So I don't know. This is kind of like a fresh pro for us to see. Like, how good is Super right at this moment?
He might surprise us, Artosis. We'll just have to find out. Our map lineup is going to be Newkirk Precinct, Daybreak, and if we do go to a game number 3, it'll be on Abyssal Reef.
Okay, cool map set right there. Definitely got to be favoring Maru for it overall. We'll see if Super has something special to pull out.
That's right, Artosis. And our game is loading up right now, so let's do this. Maru versus Super, game number 1, in a fight to go on to the winner's match in the GSL Codex. Song, man. In the bottom right, in the blue, he is
Jin Air Green Wings, Maru.
Get that itch off the nose. There's no taking your hands off the keyboard in a little bit. In the bottom left, in the red, he is
Super.
Super!
Super!
Do you like that ID?
Out of all the other IDs we have, I'm not a big fan of it. I think it's hard, though, if you're not a native English speaker, to pick the right word. That's why we have some wonky IDs sometimes out here in Korea if it's an English word.
Well, you can always grow into your ID as well. Some IDs that at first don't sound that good, over time, like you just get used to them, you're like, okay, that is a cool ID now. Like, for instance, Deer, I'm like, okay, he's grown into that ID. You know what I
I've
mean?
gotten used to it. Well,
Yeah.
I guess the thing is, if you're really, really good, it almost doesn't matter what your name is. But I feel like there are some IDs that are definitely better than others.
For IDs that you prefer, I read something on this just recently, and
Yeah.
not specifically IDs, but just words. Words that you're more familiar with, the longer that you are, a word is like brought up around you, the more that you prefer that word.
Oh, that's interesting.
So over time, like, that makes sense, right? Because even like Testy, I'm like, okay, I guess that's not such a bad ID, right? And because I've known the guy since like 1999 or something, right?
Yeah,
and
you get
it's
used
like,
to it after a while, right?
Eventually, you're just like, yeah, no, this is his ID, and that's, it actually describes him pretty well. And
But there's been some IDs I thought were just so fitting for the best player in the world, like MVP.
yeah, that was
You know how?
Yeah,
I mean, can you
sure.
imagine being named MVP and you're not the very, very best of the best?
like Perfect Man.
Yeah, like, oh god, that ID.
There was a StarCraft 1 pro
yeah.
called Perfect Man, and he was by no means a perfect man.
It was so brutal. I had to cast a lot of his stuff back when we were still at Go Up TV. I'm like, all right, perfect, man.
Yeah.
Who then proceeds to lose the game. So we have the Reaper coming out here to scout right now.
The most standard of openers, a gas first for Maru, getting very quickly into the reactor and factory, and then, of course, the Reaper coming up here against an Adept and Stargate, which he will be able to scout. So, or, well, I guess if he jukes back that way,
Yeah,
he
it looks
might
like he did not actually spot the Stargate just
Okay,
yet. He
there we
should
go.
see it this time around, and he has confirmation of it now.
Yeah, so this is like every game of TVP.
Yeah.
This is the most common to openers, at least. But, of course, there's a lot of different ways that you can go with this. Let's not forget that there has been a nerf to the Adept by 10 health. A lot of people are still going for Adept Phoenix, so we'll see
Yeah.
if that's where he wants to go with this build.
I think Adept Phoenix is still completely viable.
I
We want
think so.
We want to watch for the little mini game here of where is the Widow Mine going to be hidden. In this case, he's not going to keep it back here. Sometimes the Oracle can get blindsided and just run into the Widow Mine, and it gives a big tempo advantage to the Terran. But in this case, oh, I see what he's doing. Check this out, Artosis.
Yeah.
See the Widow Mine?
Yeah.
It's going over to where that third base would be, and he's hoping to catch that early on. How did this Reaper get through?
It's a good Reaper right there.
Yeah.
Oh, he screwed up a little bit there. Oh, okay. He actually brought the Oracle back. And there's a Viking on the way as well. So a lot of anti-Oracle play here from his opponent. And so it's almost good that he chased down the Reaper with the Oracle, because now he's less likely to lose it right away. Now, a second Oracle popping up, it still can be something like Adept Phoenix.
Okay, hold up. He's going to be on the flight path.
Oh
Will
my
he
gosh.
see it?
Ooh.
Nicely done. Avoids losing that Oracle.
Super, super good. Okay,
Nah.
this build that we're... Oh, I didn't even mean to do that.
Yeah.
I actually didn't. I swear to God. I love making bad puns, but that was totally random. So, looking at this build order, Tasis, he's going to a third Oracle. He might be going Blink with this.
Yeah, he could be. And if you get enough oracles together, you can really just like pounce on almost anything and kill it so fast. So let's see if he does it. I mean, having anything more than 2 is pretty surprising. A lot of players will just get 1 oracle, use that to try to kill SCVs, and then tag the Terran army, especially on the medevacs, to try to monitor where they're moving. And then you get Phoenixes along with that. And, you know, if you tag the army, it's really easy for the Phoenixes and the Adepts to come in there and kill it. And he's definitely pooling these oracles. Let's see if he gets 4. 4 is actually a pretty crazy number to get as well.
This is very interesting. I have never seen anyone do this. You know, the double oracle openings are something that Deer loves to do with Blink, but this is a slightly later third, a very fast Glaives in +1, and 3 or 4 oracles are out. So it's just like Maru doesn't know.
Maru, yeah.
Yet, like, that's plenty of detection. It's a ton of damage output. He can throw down 1 billion wards. Oh my god, he's just throwing out stasis wards everywhere.
That's so cool.
Okay, as long as he keeps some Adepts on the map to intercept, because a lot of Terrans nowadays are sending like 1 Marine forward to trip these.
Yeah.
But this is super cool, man.
Okay, hold up. Terran's now pushing out. Now, we don't have any Marine in the... Okay, now we do, excuse me. I was going to say we don't have any Marine in the lead. So this Marine is meant to set off the trap, but there are 3 of them right now.
He's actually sending up an Adept to stop this from occurring.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no. Oh, that is so brutal right there. Oof.
Takes out that 1 Adept.
And now that he sees that there's this many oracles, he might be able to
just
guess that there's like more stasis wards. Yeah, so he's sending another one.
It's not going to work.
Oh, dude.
All right, he does not trigger that one just yet. That was just out of range. There's going to be a huge drop, though, I believe. We see it heading on the bottom of the map. It's about halfway there. Combat Shields is going to be finishing as this drop commences.
Okay, there's some well-placed pylons there, so if he's super on top of it, maybe he can overcharge and block this off.
Okay, he's coming in now. I don't see where the mothership core is just yet.
He might not even have it yet, possibly.
Oh, no, it's just up there, north of the screen. But he can come over here and actually hit this forge, which is a pretty big deal. Although it's not upgrading right now.
Yep, it's just being chronoed. And setting off more of those wards right now. That's quite a few mines, but making enough stalkers that he can actually push these mines back.
So far, Super seems to have a pretty good handle on this. I mean, this drop really didn't do that much. 2 more forges being made. Marines come in here, but nice force fields there to lock the rest of the Terran army out.
Ooh, he's going to target that mine. He does target those mines down very, very well, quite swiftly. Baits that other mine out, and in fact, looks like he's going to hold on against everything. This isn't really too much damage that's been done.
Yeah. I got to say, Super's actually done a really fantastic job. I mean, Terran hemorrhaged a lot of units. Granted, the 3rd base just now finished up here for Maru, but Super's been on 3 bases for a while. I guess minus losing those oracles back there, he's had a pretty good handle on what's going on in this game.
Yeah, he's got double forge going, so definitely if he can kind of survive, he's going to be in a very good spot as far as upgrades go. Ooh, a nice stim forward there.
Pick off there.
Yeah.
Gets the 1 observer. Now he's going to come down and try to drop here into the main. Now this isn't a huge drop, but good job here by Super taking out these workers.
Yeah, the double oracle definitely gaining some value right now, but that drop could be deadly indeed. Looks like he's going to fly around away from those stalkers. Some more depths being warped in here as well. Quite a bit of bio for Maru, but definitely enough units here for Super to push it back.
Yeah, really nicely handled there by Super. There wasn't any good surface area there for the Terran. Maru tries to drop over there to the 3rd, but it is immediately deflected. There's a chance coming up here that Super may try to counterattack. Oh, excuse me. No, he's not going to because he's getting a 4th Nexus here.
Yeah, well,
I thought we could have had a bigger gateway explosion, but yeah, it looks like he just wants to play a passive game.
With the double forge, it looks like he just wants to kind of hunker down for the time being. He's blocking these drops well enough. He's keeping so many tags on the army. Definitely a very original and cool way that we see Super playing this one, and his army looks pretty darn scary. I think Maru has to sit back. He can't attack right now.
Yeah, this would probably be an overextension if Maru tried to attack in. It's really important to note that normally Super relies on some kind of weird timing in a lot of his games, and usually struggles a bit more than the other Protosses in Super late game, but right now he's looking in great shape.
It's really cool, man. Like, to see this completely different style, definitely Super has come up with different ways to play matchups in the past, and this is definitely... it's a neat one to have this many Oracles out. And, like, the thing is, he doesn't have any Phoenix yet. He had basically no anti-air for quite some time, but now he's starting to tear Maru apart a bit.
Yeah, he really is. We already see shading over here towards the main. Maru does not lock that up in time. I'm getting worried that Maru is going to fall too far behind. 136 supply to 162. Already with a very superior count as far as workers go right now for the Protoss, especially when you have 16 worker kills so far with these Adepts. And look at this army. It's on the move, Command.
Oh boy, a lot of damage being put out. Luckily for him, Blink is not done quite yet, so Maru does get away with most of it. Finally gets rid of the Adepts in his main base, but that wasn't even a prison. That was just a small group of Adepts sent in. So Super is looking better and better. He's got a huge army, a really strong army, plenty of detection, 4 bases, great double forges going. He's about to have Blink. I mean, this is really good.
Yeah, and once he has that Blink, which is just about to finish up, then it's going to be even harder for Maru to drop in without risking losing everything. Because no matter how fast you are with those medevacs, if they just blink underneath it, you can lose everything too fast.
Still harassing with these Adepts. Look at that, 7 kills already. I mean, that's just a group of 4 Adepts that he had there. A Blink forward going after these medevacs. Now, I'm kind of surprised that Maru continued to push with this tiny amount of units.
Well, you know, it's kind of weird because the way we're normally casting Maru's games, he's chipping away at his opponent, and eventually he tips him over. But in this case, it seems like Maru's just bleeding off small groups of armies everywhere. And I think it's completely appropriate for Protoss to try to counterattack now.
Oh, absolutely. He should be able to do some serious damage here. He's got better upgrades right now just by 1 attack, but still, that's something. A really strong army as well.
And with the Observer over here, he can gun down the mines. He knows when and where he can blink in. This is really Super's game to lose at this point in time. This is funny. He wanted to check and see if there was another base up there. And there is not. It's still 3 bases up to what is soon going to be 5 right now for Super.
Sending Adepts in both directions, going forward now, trying to break through the Liberator line as well. Maru does have quite a few units and is trying to stop it right now. A lot of SCVs falling.
He's not got the best angle to come in here, but I think with these Oracles, yep, that's going to be it. GG. Super with just so many units, even in an unfavorable convex he's fighting through, he still has too much and runs Maru over. That is a big upset in Game 1, and we might have an upset in this best of 3 if Super wins one more.
It definitely could, bringing a completely new style. I have not seen that even one time so far, making all these Oracles, throwing down wards everywhere. Obviously, it gave him great presence, tagging everything. Maru couldn't get any harassment done. But where he really fell apart was the couple of Adept shades in. He was completely unready for that harassment and lost ginormous amounts of SCVs.
I'm curious to see if Super will do something similar by getting a lot of Oracles early on. It did seem to slow down Maru when he tried to push out. It also made it so easy to continuously tag armies.
Yeah.
Even if he was losing observers, he wouldn't have to worry that much about any mines.
Yeah, I really liked his play, like standing on top of the wards to stop Marines from running in and having enough sentries that he can kind of dictate what's coming after him. Like, it's not like he's even going to get caught. You just back up and the army hits the ward.
It's really smart because a lot of times the wards are made to surprise either player. This one is almost made so that you can't push forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Super cool.
All right, guys, this is game number 2 on the map Daybreak. Super versus Maru, a fight to the winner's match.
Will me, thrill me, you can never kill me. To me, sue me, everybody do me. Kick me, strike me, don't you black and white me. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us.
In the
Jin Air Greenway.
Excuse me.
Maru.
That's fine. Man.
intro voice is like, shut up, Tasus, I got this.
You know, I'm really excited about this style that Super has shown us.
Yeah, it's cool. In the bottom left in the red, he is.
Super.
Dude, gas first?
Yeah, gas
That's
in a
not
gate.
even a thing. Oh my gosh.
Well, it's definitely Super who's dictating the way that this game's going. Maru's having to be the reactionary player. And when you think about it, Artosis, a lot of Maru's games, it's not so much about, how do I say this? He just continues to push and push. And eventually he outcontrols the other player. But, I mean, if Super keeps opening up with these crazy builds, it seems almost like Maru can't get to the point of the game that he wants to be at to close it out.
Very interesting stuff so far. I am loving it. And actually, I see what Super has done with this gas first. It makes a lot of sense. Like, if you're not going to scout, the gas first, like, this actually lines up better for your economy. So that's It doesn't look like it's going to be something crazy like a DT rush or something. It's just like, if you're not scouting, that, like, just looking at his probe counts, he had 60 on minerals the whole time and got his gas mining a bit earlier. So, cool. But command center first into 3 racks here from Maru.
So this is not as much of a tech-heavy build. What he wants to do is have a lot of muscle on the ground, and that might allow Maru to get to the place in the game that he wants to get to. Last time he didn't have much success pushing out on the map, and when he finally was able to do any drops or anything like that, he had a mothership core ready to defend with his pylons. He had blink done so he could catch everything. So Maru might be trying to get a foothold as far as map presence goes, starting this game off, because he's just going to have a lot more infantry.
Right now we have Mothership Core on the way, and the Mothership Core won't actually really do too much. Opening with Mothership Core against a command center first is, like, you basically want to skip it. You want to tech up a little bit quicker.
Yeah, you don't need it right away.
Yeah, it doesn't really do much. Like, I guess you'll have an extra overcharge or two or something like that. But
it's not terrible, but it's
not what you're looking for. That's for sure. So going into a Robo from here, Super still hasn't scouted at all, right? So he's
I don't believe so.
Playing blind against 3CC. Well, if you have a Mothership Core and you're going Robo, I guess you can actually just run into anything and be okay, pretty much, as long as it's not like a proxy, something crazy. But he's not really sure of what Maru's up to at the moment.
So as this game moves forward, he's got the Adepts out here in the front. It looks like it could be a fairly conservative game here from Super. We don't, in the last game he got the Stargate out, which is really no surprise, but then to get a bunch of Oracles was kind of cool. It's not what we normally expect. And I think, at least for me, when I see a lot of Oracles, I think that something has to happen immediately.
Yeah.
We've seen some games where people will get more than one Oracle and then use that in the fight.
Yeah.
They'll send the army in, start doing damage, and the Oracle comes in and just deals so much damage. And if the player if the player that's defending this isn't controlling perfectly and targeting down those Oracles, then he loses the fight. But in this case, he just had him for technical purposes.
Yeah, and that's really cool. Like, this is something that's actually emerging a bit as over the last, 3 months or so, as Terrans get better and better at defending Oracle. Like, for instance, Classic, the first Protoss to kind of bust out the stay-at-home Oracle.
Yeah.
Right? Like, normally you look at other units as the Mothership Core, right? There we are once again, the patriarchy. They're making the Mothership Core stay at home, defend the base. But Classic, for instance, will just keep an Oracle at home, and whatever
the
job
Mothership
comes
Core
in.
has to stay at home, be barefoot and pregnant. Apparently, this is the yes.
Yeah, it just very, very cool little switch up, but looks like this is just like a solid build overall coming out of Super. He's getting a pretty quick forge, probably just get some plus attack for these Colossi that it looks like he's going to be going into, and he's going to be solid.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Super fares in this game. Certainly, Maru is somebody who's not going to be deterred after losing one game. Let's see now that Maru's going to push out. His stim's almost done. So he might try to get. Now this is always a good move. He's probably going to scan right here.
Ooh.
Oh, that was actually just in range of the turret. I'm sorry. Yeah, whenever you leave your base around this phase of the game, you can pretty much always scan outside at the front, and there's an observer there, and you can kill it. Because they have to know when you're going to leave your base by ground.
Very true, and that really hurts because his robo time is super accounted for, as is his gas with an opener like this, so he can't just keep making observers. But I do have to say that Super's opening, even though he was pretty scoutless early on, this is pretty good against Command Center first, because they get a lot of bio, and he's getting into Colossus so fast that nothing should break him, really. What he's got to look out for, though, is splitting his army. This third Nexus, this is a place where there could be a lot of contention, right? Like, if Maru is trying to hit up there and he brings his army up, and a drop hits his main, that's where Super can really take a beating. But his main army will not be defeated by what Maru is doing right now.
Getting the second observer, this is going to be less and less intel for the Protoss, and that's important because Maru's known for having very, very good drops. So if he can't monitor exactly where this army is, and keep in mind he didn't get an Oracle right away to just tag this, so he's really very much reliant on these observers to spot where the army's actually moving. Looks like he knows that there's a high chance third base could be pressured, so he backs up so he can defend in between the second and the third.
Okay, moving down towards this third base. Some extra pylons going up as well can help out with those overcharges. Some gateways are finishing up. Of course, this is enough that he can keep back this bio. as long as he micros well here.
As you can see now, there's no way that Terran can penetrate that. He's trying to split his army up here, but Super is definitely not overextending.
A couple more medevacs are flying down right now, probably with some reinforcements. Yeah, right there. So it is a pretty big bioforce, but as long as Super knows where it is, he can defend against everything.
Looks like he's going to try to drop right on top of the Colossus.
Ooh, sneaky move right there, getting on top of these Colossi. And in fact, both of them will be targeted down. God, Maru's showing his power.
That might just be too much there. He's now going to run northbound, hit the Nexus up here. The Stalker, Zealot, and 2 Sentries are going to try to slow this down, but at what cost, really? Look at how good Maru is at just moving this army around.
Yeah, picking it right up and running away once again. It gets held off, but that is the move that Maru needed, and I feel like he's in control from here on out, Tasteless. To kill off 2 Colossi, like, he can just stay on bio now. He doesn't have to do a Viking switch. This is a way that we've seen Maru play in the past, where other Terrans will make Vikings. If Maru can make you screw up and lose a Colossi or 2, suddenly he just starts making more Marauders, and he will just spread out and destroy you.
He also gunned down another Observer over there. So Protoss really doesn't know what angle his opponent's going to be coming at. In fact, I think that's the last Observer over there, the one that he's flying over right now. But to what you were saying, Artosis, you're completely right. He's just targeting down the Colossi and letting his infantry numbers grow and grow and grow. Looks like he's going to try to drop now in the main.
Okay, Super's coming up right now. Going to be able to poke that Colossi pretty easily. A probe pull at that third base. Very smart move. Uh-oh, another Colossi goes down. This is Maru really hitting his stride right now. Maybe overcommitting just slightly here.
That seemed a little bit too much to actually try to come in there and face off all those Stalkers with a blank with a Colossus in the background. But he's already interrupting the mining at this third base.
Oh my God! And somehow he got a mine. I don't even know how he did that. I can see the whole screen. He got a mine into the natural. 9 probes falling. This is how good Maru truly is. Like, he has picked off already 3 Colossi. Is it? A ton of probes. He's spreading Super out all over the place. And now he actually is going into Vikings just to seal the deal.
Yeah, I love the fact that he got this Widow Mine over here. You could see that Super wasn't even aware the first time it was burrowed down over here. We're very close, I think, to Maru just toppling Super. I do not believe Super can keep up.
Yeah, I bet you he just flies over with like 8 Vikings and kills him. If you lose your Colossi at this point, like, that is such the backbone of Super's army. He's had to spend so much money on it as well. Big drop going towards that main base. Has to turn around, though.
Does not overextend here. And look at this. He scans the moment, realizing, he must have seen that somehow.
Shouldn't have been moving that Observer.
I love that he started to unload that as it was killed and then picked it back up so he could try to drop somewhere else. It's these little subtle things you might not always catch on, but it's what makes Maru the great player that he is.
Yeah, just such a beast, playing so well so far this game. Dropping off at this third base, it's almost completely undefended. Will be picked off in a matter of seconds.
Okay, the Nexus has been destroyed. It's 2 Colossi over here. The Stalkers are in a good position against these Vikings, but I think there just might be too much for Terran no matter what happens.
Oh, God. Look at these Marauders just run forward, picking down these Colossi as quickly as they can. 2 more end up falling, and that is going to be that, Tasteless. Nothing left for Super, and GG.
Nicely done there, Maru. It all goes back to that drop where he landed right on top of the Colossi. Protoss really just had sentries to try to utilize the distance that the Colossus can give you as an advantage in a fight. But once he dropped on top of that and took those 2 out, no matter what, the infantry waves just keep coming in. It's a lot easier to target down 1 or 2 Colossi than it is to take on 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And with Maru keeping that number reduced, there was just nothing that Super could do to answer this onslaught of infantry coming at him.
Maru is why a lot of top Protoss players say don't go Colossus. Sometimes you hear the murmurings of this where Stats is like, screw the Colossus, this unit sucks. It's because of Maru more than anybody, because he can, like, he sniped something like that. Look at that. Those Vikings didn't even do anything for him at the end. He was making them, and that's fine. He had enough medevacs, but, like, he just kills everything with Marauders as soon as you don't have the critical mass.
Yeah, the Stalkers are not going to pair well against Marauders.
No.
They're going to be healed up. They're too beefy. I don't know, man. Let's see what happens. This is game number 3 on the map, Abyssal Reef. In the upper left,
Jin Air Green Wings, Maru.
in the bottom right, in the red. He is.
Super.
Super showing a nice variety of play tonight so far.
That's right, he is.
And excited to see what he'll pull out this time. Two very different builds. This map, I would imagine that he'll open up with the Stargate, just because it can be pretty tough to do like Colossus-based stuff. There's a lot of abusive things Terran can do pretty early on here. So a lot of times you want to go for that Stargate. The probe kind of sneaking around the side. Kind of a funny scout pattern there, maybe looking...
I think he might have been checking for some kind of hidden barracks up there. Or...
Possibly, yeah. I think you're probably right. That is generally where I find the barracks that kills all of my probes.
Yeah, it's funny when you start to realize these patterns on where people hide stuff.
Yeah.
And then it gets all meta, and you have to like hide it in the more obvious place where you know, they're not going to check because people stopped hiding it there.
Hiding in plain sight. It's
Yeah, you can do that in StarCraft 2 if the game's been around long enough, the map's been around long enough.
yeah, very true.
So we have a Reaper opening here. The Cybernetics core is almost done, and what we're really looking for is to see if it is going to be a Stargate here. Super smashed Maru in Game 1 with Stargate tech. He tried to mix it up in Game 2 and was punished for it. So let's see if he reverts back to what worked in Game 1.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing something like that again. It was pretty darn cool. Like the mass stasis wards. Stasis ward, I really do think, I've said this before, but I think in the future this is going to become like this ridiculous spell that everyone is using a ton, because it, like, there's a lot of power to it, and it's not that expensive really. Like,
That's
yeah,
right.
There's a lot of other things you want to do with oracles as well, but you see like a situation like we saw in that previous game on Newkirk. Those stasis wards were magnificent. Like, this was a new way. We don't really see
Now,
people dancing on top of a stasis ward with a bunch of sentries to keep Terran back, but
here-
it's cool.
On that note, though, Artosis, it should be mentioned that might have been a build that's only good on that map, right? It's a pretty clear path to the
It is,
Protoss'
yeah.
base on that map, where it's like on Abyssal Reap, there's usually like 3 different angles you can try to push them at. So
that's
it
true.
might be harder to lay out a lot of stasis wards and actually utilize them.
Yeah, you definitely have a point there. If they happen to go around, it's going to be a lot tougher. Of course, you know, that's kind of the funny thing, too. These stasis wards, it's kind of reminding me, now that you bring that up, of old, like, FD Terran builds in StarCraft 1, where Protosses would know where the mines should be, so could try to walk around them.
Yeah.
And it becomes very risky, but it's something that you can try. And, like, that could even happen on a map like Newkirk. You know, you could just go around the long way and give up that speed to try to dodge stasis wards.
So look at this. This is so cool. Okay, so he's expecting an Oracle to come out, and he knows if the Oracle sees the Reaper, he's immediately going to try to get it. So he's
that's so
trying
cool.
to bait him on over here.
Look at this. He's looking for it.
He's where's that Reaper? Well, let me
Oh my God, this is so awesome.
This is really smart.
Super's not
I
gonna
love
find
that
the
people
Reaper.
keep adapting.
Yeah.
And getting sneakier and sneakier. Now he should.
Whoa, look at that armory. There's an armory being made. He's making an armory. What? This is cool.
Let's see what he does.
Is he going to get like drilling claws or something? I'm not sure, man.
Maybe.
Wait, no. That's not what that's for. It made, like,
Okay, he ends up getting the Reaper anyways. I was really hoping we'd see the Oracle go down with the Reaper there.
he's actually making a Thor tasteless, possibly a Thor drop.
Wow, what is this, 2011?
Yeah.
Okay, it does. The Oracles do not end up hitting that Widow Mine. Now, the Thor is, I think, just barely not going to be done by the time these Oracles get here. It's about halfway complete now.
Yeah, stasis wards don't work on Thors, by the way, because they're massive, so that's just... Oh, man, ouch.
Bad start
And
here.
a Viking. Oh, jeez. Very, very bruised up Oracle. And what he scouted, he thinks is a siege tank being made. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
siege tanks, super common on this map, super common in the matchup. Thors, never, ever, 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 ever. So-
There it is. The Thor's in fetal position,
Oh,
guys.
my God, this is the coolest thing ever.
He better not untug his legs or he's going to stub his toe on the ground.
Dude, this is so neat. I can't even get over. Like, this is so awesome. A Thor, like, beats Adepts. It beats Oracles. Like, what are you going to do against this Thor? He's making a second Thor. We're seeing Thors from Maru.
This is so cool. It's almost like we had forgotten about the Thor entirely in the game. He's going to come down now. Now, it does get set off there, but I don't know if that's going to matter. Another trap is being laid, but this SCV is going to set it up.
Oh, so
Maru's
well done.
ready.
Man, these sentries aren't going to do anything against the Thor either.
Yeah, he's making a bunker. He's going to try to push this forward here.
Look at this. Oh my god. You can just like repair the Thor as well, of course. It's got so much health, so much damage as well.
He actually takes out the pie. Oh my god. I think this is going to work, Artosis.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This third base is going down. What are these sentries going to do? He's making a Void Ray and an Immortal to try to deal with this Thor.
As you can see here, he's actually hitting the Nexus. I don't think this can be reclaimed. There's just no way. Immortals are coming, but it's going to be long gone. This expansion will be long gone before he can do anything to drive this back. Now, the question is, does he keep pushing or does he go back home?
Yeah,
I think you go back home here. I don't think you want to try to go any further.
Aren't the Thors just going to lose value as the game gets longer? Like, look, I'm super excited that he's used this. And I have so many questions about whether or not he thought of this on the fly as like, okay, well, this will be good against sentries and stasis wards.
No, I don't think he thought about this in the moment. I think this is just a tailored build here. What's weird though, you're right, is that he is continuing to make Thors here.
This is
and I
so
feel like
cool.
if Protoss knows this is coming, then you can handle it. Good pickup there.
Yeah, like the Thor, there are units that kill Thors for Protoss. But, like, for instance, Void Rays and Immortals, like, if you have Stim and Bio, you're going to, like, do fine against that. Not that an Immortal is ever bad, unless it's against Brood
It's like
Lords,
one of these fights where, like, everything can counter the other thing.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit about how you end up engaging. Like, the Marines can counter the Immortals and the Void Rays, but, of course, the Thors counter a lot of what the Protoss is trying to do otherwise.
Yeah. This is so cool. Like, I can't even... Here, okay, so my number one question is, Maru, did he come in today thinking that he might use Thors? Like, that could be good against Phoenix Adept as well.
Yeah.
But, like, specifically against the Newkirk Precinct game, you think about what that game was? Oracles, Stasis Wards, Sentries, and Adepts. Thors just counter all of that,
Well, here's
right?
the other thing, Artos, is if you notice there's not really Marauders with this army right now. It's just Marines, but he can have the Thor soak a lot of that damage in the front, and it's easy to pick it up and juggle it back.
Yeah.
It's one of the easier things to do micro-wise in StarCraft 2 is to snag a Thor and move it around. And, of course, he can take the wounded Thors back later on and repair them.
It's so cool. Like, either Maru had this as a pre-planned thing, and the thing is, we keep on coming up with ideas why this is so cool and so good, but, like, it's either that or he thought of this on the fly, and both are remarkable and impressive. Just the fact that he's making a bunch of Thors and he's going to kill Super and go into the winner's match because of it is super awesome and neat.
Okay.
Ooh.
He's getting hiccuped here in his progression on the map, but I'm a little bit worried, man. This many infantry, even with really good stasises, I don't think it's going to be an issue because the Thors just step right on top of the stasises, as we just now see here.
Yeah, pretty big deal right there. The Void Ray is targeting down very quickly on this Thor, but the Stim Bio kind of holding its own a little bit. Everything getting unstasised as well. These two Thors going to town, but the Immortal dealing huge amounts of damage against it. Oh my god, and it looks like he's going to actually hold and push everything back.
Okay, so this might be why we don't see this as much as we have until now. It seems like it can catch the Protoss off guard.
Yeah.
But then the Protoss, instinctively knows a Thor, you immediately start making Immortals.
Yeah.
Now, Terran's switching into tanks, so the other cool thing to note is that, it's easy to save them and it's easy to repair them.
Yeah, that's very true. As long as the medevac gets away, the Thor gets away, and that's especially if your opponent is being forced into something like building Thors, right? Like the medevacs will be able to pick these.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Immortals. If you're making Immortals, right, that's not going to help you to kill off these medevacs so well. So, like these Thors, he continues to get a lot of value out of. But I don't know. It's just such a weird game. I wasn't prepared for this today, and I'm so excited about that.
Well, TVP rather, is just a matchup that we kind of know what to expect, right? We've seen some interesting unit comps, but this completely changes everything.
Yeah, first it was so cool what Super was doing in Game 1 and now Game 3, but now just to see that like Maru has something that might be even more exciting with the Thors. Oh man.
Okay, now can he fight this? It's 4 Immortals over here. He's got a good number of Marauders, not that many Marines. And right now, Terran's continuing to filter units out over here. Looks like he's going to shut down this Adept harass over in his expansion. But Okay, excuse me. I thought they actually were fighting down here. They haven't engaged each other just yet.
Yeah, that fourth base not going to be going up down there, and the siege tanks are really what's making this hard. It's the type of army that we see from Super takes a little bit to win the battle, and the siege tanks get a lot of hits during that time. So he's continuing to try to do some counter harassment, but can he actually push his army back?
As you can see, the Void Rays and Immortals starting to target down this one Thor. Good pickup over there, though. I don't know about this. This is kind of wild. Now, of course, the Stalkers can get a little bit ahead of this army, but then they have to face off against the Marauders. Maru very uncomfortable right now. Good job dropping that one Thor.
Yeah, and Super is playing really well, by the way. Oh my god, losing some more medevacs. But, like, I thought for sure after how strong an early engagement that Maru had, getting rid of that third base, I'm like, okay, Maru is definitely going to finish it off from here. But it seems like with this amount of Immortals in here, his unit comp is just having a very hard time.
With the Adept harass, as fancy as what Maru's doing with the Thors, I think there's been a lot of SCVs that have been killed that Maru's going to have to recuperate from. Otherwise, he will lose this game. It's 60 probes to 48, now 50 SCVs. And those have been being remade constantly in this game.
Some ghosts on the way right now. That's definitely going to make a big, big difference against this type of army. Look how many sentries there are. This has been a linchpin within his army. And you EMP a couple of times, and suddenly, the sentries are basically worthless. You may as well have probes in your army.
Yeah, a scan comes down here. He's going to see this army's moving up. Siege takes now in siege mode. For sure, Super has to back off.
Proccing a couple of those shields, so backing up right now. Maru trying to do a little bit of harassment here. Luckily, a couple of Adepts will slow this down and allow him to stop any probes from dying off, but he's securing this fourth base at the moment. Looks like there might be a little bit of a fight going on as well up here. Look at that scary army. EMP plus that many siege tanks. Ow.
Terran wants to push a little bit further, but he's backing up now. Now, with the DT harass, I think this is a great play. It's going to make it much harder for Terran to move out. All these units have to be activated for Terran in order to win a fight. So, I think right now, Super is just taking the edge he has right now and managing to maintain that lead even further here. If he can just keep dropping to depths and hitting with DTs everywhere, it's going to be very tough for Terran to ever leave home.
Yeah, but you know what? It's hard to break Terran as well. Siege tanks plus planetaries is... like, I guess you can't really walk up and actually kill that base. So a second Robo on the way. Colossus Tech coming out as well. Definitely needs some range splash damage, especially with these ghosts out. Something to kind of zone those back. Maru's army continues to become scarier and scarier.
Maru immediately moving out as the Protoss backs up to take his fifth. Let's see if Super can get into a good position here. Because if this is sieged up, all these tanks, and he's got a good arc, there's really nothing Protoss can do to engage.
If he gets that high ground, that fourth base is gone in a matter of seconds. It looks like this might be like a delayed base trade coming out of Super, and I would definitely say Maru's in a better position for that.
Yeah, well, Maru's already hitting right now. These probes already being evacuated. And it does not look like Super's going to turn around. In fact, Super is doubling down, trying to move into this area right now.
I like that this is what he's doing, especially considering his DT tech. If he can maybe pick off some of these command centers, DTs can start to clean things pretty well. 4 DTs in this army right now. Maru might not even notice. He scans, though, and they go down quickly.
All right, he's going to take out this Nexus. You're completely right, Artos. If enough command centers go down, there's no answer to the DTs. We don't have any Raven with this army here for Terran. However, I think the rate at which Maru is pushing through is the real concern. The fact of the matter is he's just one base away from getting into the main. He most certainly will destroy this Nexus, and if he does get into the main, he can destroy all the tech. Note, though, that Super is now expanding to the upper right.
Yeah, he has another Nexus out here as well. Maru quickly chasing down those probes. He's killed almost all of them at the moment. Oh, God, the Siege Tank shelling from above. The Colossus almost going down here. Void Ray's being turned on. He's going to target down these Siege Tanks, but oh, my God. Oh, that is just way too much damage on Super's army. I don't think he should have turned around, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that Protoss army is so slow. It's so clunky. Now he can get up here. He can unpower all of these pylons. He can take out all of the key tech. Bear in mind, Terran buildings can fly, so he can always relocate to a new area where Protoss is basically stuck where these bases have been taken. 80 supply to 151 here. Maru in the lead, and now 12 workers for Super to Maru's 23.
Yeah, that's not looking so good considering he has 0 minerals right now. Maru does not have a good economy either, but his actual army is so hard to engage. 5 siege tanks with 5 ghosts, rather. Like, there's really nothing left for Super. He's got half the supply.
Indeed, he does, Artosis. Not much sophistication here for the Protoss' army. Not any real way to engage this setup once these tanks are in siege mode, but he's going to try to go for it. No, he's not. He's going to tap out.
Yeah.
Taking the wind out of my sails there. So that is it. Maru wins that 2-1. A good showing from Super, but Maru is someone who can adapt. That's why we have this as a best of 3.
The awesome series. Just awesome, awesome series. Holy crap.
But
to see
Super's
all this
evolved.
new play. Oh, yeah, no, he brought out some really cool stuff tonight. So very excited to see that going forward as well. Maybe he'll hit Maru again. Who knows? But there you have it. Maru goes to that winner's match 2-1.
That was a real treat to cast. Coming up next is Curious versus Dark. A ZBZ, excuse me. I think Dark wins that, but we'll find out. That was a much closer match than I expected there with Super versus Maru. Anyways, guys, stay tuned. We'll be right back here at the GSL Code S.